chips are down. Call on Mumfie when you need defending. Braver than a bulldog, brighter than a clown. Here comes Mumfie with a happy ending. With his faithful friend the Scarecrow, he's got dreams enough to share. So if you want adventure, this is where to start. If you need a hero who can play the part, the little pachyderm with a great big heart.
Mumfie is a special little elephant who lived all alone and had no one to play with. Every morning, he would run to his letterbox, hoping for an exciting adventure to arrive, all tied up in a parcel. As no one had ever sent him a parcel, Mumfie thought this was the way all adventures came. One day, after waiting a long time, Mumfie decided that adventures might not come in parcels after all. So he ran back to his cottage, took the penny out of his money box, wrapped some cake crumbs carefully in his best handkerchief, and set off into the woods. Where are you going? The bird's voice startled Mumfie. I'm going to find an adventure. Can I bring you back something? You could bring back something to hang on this tree. But this tree is bare. It has no leaves, no fruit, nothing. So think of something. Like a present? Exactly, said the bird, and disappeared. Mumfie began to feel nervous. Come along, he said to himself. There's no turning back now. Mumfie had never been beyond the edge of the wood before.
How big the world seems when you've just begun. Wide is the sky and the road winds forever. Fortune is calling, follow the sun. Never you fear when the storm clouds appear. Travel on, head held high. You know the rain goes and rainbows will shine by and by.
Hello, said Mumfie. Is anything wrong?
Yes,
Said the Scarecrow. Oh, what?
what?
What's wrong?
Drat them birds. There, what's wrong. The farm's closed down, and I'm all forgotten with nothing to do but be stared at by rude young persons with peculiar noses.
Have some cake crumbs. I'm going to find an adventure. I think we'd better go now.
Go? With you? But I haven't moved in ages. I don't know if I can go.
It's easy, said Mumfie.
Start with one step and your feet will grow wings. All things start at the beginning of things. Best foot forward, it's so easy to do. 3 and 4 steps come along after 2.
We don't seem to be getting very far.
Well, you've got to put one foot in front of the other. It's called walking.
But how far are we walking?
I can't tell you just how many steps it takes to find adventure. Don't you worry, I can promise we'll know when we get there. Things may happen that we don't understand. If they scare you, just take hold of my hand. Feel the comfort that togetherness brings. Best foot forward.
Nothing to it.
It's so easy, we can do it if we start at the beginning of things.
Scarecrow, have you ever seen a present tree?
A what tree?
A tree with lots of presents on it. And the presents say, to Mumfie. Oh, and Scarecrow, of course.
The only things that I've seen are that field and a few crows. Till you, that is.
Then hurry up, or we'll be late for the adventure.
To where you came from, Red Scarecrow. Well, that would bring us back to the farm, which we don't want. To where you want to go. That sounds all right if it were not for this one, which says, to where you ought to go.
I think we should take the road where we ought to be going, said Mumfie.
Yes, but that doesn't seem to be the same way as we want to go.
And the way we want to go is to an adventure. Oh.
Huh?
Then I should go the way you want to go, which is the only sensible way after all.
Come along, Mumfie, said Scarecrow anxiously. This is the way we want to go.
But Mumfie didn't trust the cat. Please, can we go the other way? Here, let me help you to decide. You left these behind? You should learn to look after your things better. Before Mumfie could reply, the cat had vanished. Scarecrow, wouldn't you like to sit down for a bit?
No, thank you. I could go on like this all day.
Mumfie wanted to sit down very much. That looks like a nice field. You could sit down there.
Did you say something?
No, I thought it was you. Hello. What are you doing?
I'm hiding
Why?
because the other pigs laugh at me.
Why?
Because...
Why, bless me, if you haven't got...
Wings. You've got wings. Oh, do come back. Can you fly with them?
I can a little.
Oh, that must be fun. Can you fly right now?
I'd rather not, if you don't mind.
Here, none of that. Now let's see you fly down. I thought not. Now you can see how important wings can be.
We think your wings are wonderful. My name is Mumfie, and this is Scarecrow.
And my name is Pinky.
Are there, any more of you around here? Distant relatives, I mean.
I'm not sure. I do remember an island. In the middle of a big blue sea. And then came danger.
What sort of danger?
I can't remember. But there was mist everywhere. And my mother flew me here to safety. I haven't seen her since then. Oh, I do wish I could find her.
You can find her, and we're going to help you do it.
You said island, that means water. Where there's water, there's a seaside.
If we all set off together, we can't fail to reach it.
Our adventure has begun now for real. You're a part of the excitement I feel.
Mumfie, Scarecrow,
And a piglet with wings. All together we'll discover
how to get to Pinky's mother.
if we start at the beginning of things.
Pinky was so happy to be with friends that she snuggled up to Scarecrow's jacket and was soon asleep. The lane became sandy, and a breeze rustled the grasses. Mumfie felt happy and bouncy inside as the beach grew nearer and nearer But what they find there, we'll have to wait until next time. Mumfie, the special elephant, and his new friends, Scarecrow and Pinkey, hurried across the sand.
Will we find my mother soon?
We'll have to find your island first.
Oh, look!
Mumfie had never been to the seaside before.
There's a mountain. I don't remember that.
Beaches don't have mountains.
I think this one does.
Oh! It looks like an eye. Is it an eye, Scarecrow?
Very possibly.
Scarecrow rather hoped it wasn't.
Certainly it's an eye. And what's more, it's my eye.
Mountains don't have eyes.
They don't speak either. I think we'd better go.
Oh no, please don't go. You're my last hope.
Mumfie didn't know quite which part of the mountain to talk to, so he looked for the eye again. Are you in trouble, Mr. Mountain?
I'm not a mountain. I'm a whale, and I'm in terrible trouble. I got washed up, and if the tide doesn't soon wash me down again, it'll be all up for me. Oh, I don't feel at all well. And neither would you if you had a boat stuck under your belly.
Poor thing. We've got to rescue him, Scarecrow. He's so slippery that if we get him started, he may slide. Look, there's a rope. That'll help. He may be a whale, but this is just like trying to move a mountain. We've done it! Oh, oh. Oh!
Oh, joy! Oh, rapture! Thank you, thank you. I wish I could do something for you by way of return.
Oh, but you could. Do you know where latitude so-and-so, longitude so-and-so is?
I ought to. I live near there. Climb aboard and I'll take you myself. It's good to have company. In fact, you're my first passengers. Did you see my notice in the newspaper?
No. Why? What did it say?
It said, come inside for a whale of a time. You'll never leave.
Is that all you said?
Yes. I can't understand why no one replied.
I can.
By now, the sun was little more than an orange pip on the far horizon. Pinky began to shiver.
Brr, it's cold.
Here, my jacket will keep you warm.
How thoughtless of me! You must come inside.
Inside where?
Inside me, of course.
No, thank you.
Scarecrow suddenly began to wonder what whales like to eat.
Don't be frightened. I'm really quite friendly once you get to know me. But people don't understand me.
When I was a baby, my mother said,
Maybe it's time you were told, but you must realize the world won't adore you, they'd rather ignore you. They'll think you're a monster because of your size. When dolphins outrun you and porpoises shun you and smaller fish show you the back of their tails, don't soak in a grotto, remember this motto, there's always a welcome in Wales.
Hang on, and I'll switch on the lights. It's this way in.
She said it's a lonely and whales are your only friend. As I grew bigger, I found this was true. A bit of a dreamer, I spotted a steamer, and then and there realized what I must do. I had myself fitted out, totally kitted out, like the best luxury liner that sails, and advertised gaily in newspapers daily. There's always a welcome in Wales. So stay here, I want you to stay for a year or two. I'll keep you safe from the gulls and the gales. Whatever the weather, we'll all sail together, enjoying the welcome. You're sure of the welcome. There's always a welcome in Wales.
Mumfie ran over to one of the portholes and threw it open. I can't see a thing. What happened to all the stars?
My fault. I've got the covers on in case we hit a squall.
Whale took a deep breath and clenched his muscles. Mumfie peeped through the porthole to see the dark bowl of the sky carpeted with stars. "This is lovely," he whispered to Scarecrow.
It's going to be a long voyage, so why not take a nap now? You'll find hammocks in the cupboard.
Oh, good. Scarecrow, what's a hammock?
I hope it's not something to eat. I get very upset when I hear anything with the word ham in it.
Hammocks are carpets made with strings.
Hang 'em on the brass hooks provided, and I wish you a very good night.
Beds, said Mumfie. That's what they are. Beds. Now that his guests were safe and warm, Whale turned his mind again to navigation.
This is much nicer than it looks.
How are we supposed to get into them? Asked Mumfie.
I'll help you.
You're right, Pinky. Hammocks are nicer than they look, when you get used to them. But Mumfie began to have problems. If he lay on his left side, he crumpled his left ear. And if he turned over, he crumpled the other one. And he couldn't work out how to hang his trunk. At last, sighed Mumfie to himself. Nice and comfy. Then he went blissfully asleep. Till morning. Help! Oh, where am I?
Thought I'd never wake you.
You're in good voice this morning.
Yes, I am. It's wonderful what a good swim can do for the constitution.
Latitude so-and-so, longitude so-and-so. Latitude so-and-so, longitude so-and-so.
Pinky's doing much better now. She must be feeling more at home.
Home! I can see home!
There is a funny patch of mist over there. Maybe? Yes! It's the island! Ah!
I wouldn't land on that island if I were you. I sense danger there.
We have to go to that island. It's where Pinky lives.
Pinky, you'll have to fly to your island. We'll have to swim for it, Mumfie.
No need to swim. Take the dinghy! I'd like to take you ashore, but I don't want to get stuck again. You do understand?
Of course, replied Mumfie. Thank you very much.
Man the oars!
I can't. There aren't any.
They must have fallen overboard in the night. Why not stay here and keep me company?
We'd like to, but we've promised to find Pinky's mother, and we can't stop now. Then Mumfie had an idea. Spread your coat like a sail, Scarecrow, and I'll stretch my ears as far as they'll go.
What good'll that do? There's no breeze.
Whale will be our breeze and blow us to the shore.
I'll help too,
squeaked Pinky. Thank you, Whale. We hope we'll meet again soon.
Good luck.
Whale quickly sank below the waves, where his tears wouldn't be noticed amongst so much salt water. The little boat skipped over the sea towards Pinky's mysterious island. What happens then? We'll have to wait until next time. Mumfie, Scarecrow, and Pinky sped over the water towards Pinky's mysterious island.
Well, now what?
forest.
More like the sort of forest that has wild animals in it.
Will they be very wild, do you think?
Perhaps not very wild, more sort of wild-ish.
Perhaps we should save some of our breakfast for them. That might make any wild animals sort of friendly-ish.
Everyone thought this was a very good idea. So they started to unpack the food Whale had given them.
Pies and donuts.
I know the best thing to put into pies, laughed Mumfie.
What's that?
Teeth. I think we should start exploring, don't you?
I suppose so.
Scarecrow secretly wished they could stay in the sunlight. The forest grew darker and darker.
I think Whale was right to warn us about this island. I wonder if Pinky's mother really does live here.
Perhaps nothing lives here.
Replied Scarecrow hopefully.
Oh! What's that?
It's Pinky.
Yes, I'm here. Am I home now?
I expect so. Soon. Mumfie was feeling frightened but didn't want to show it. So he tried whistling cheerfully, but nothing came out. Next, he tried humming.
Is that you humming?
Yes?
Oh, good. Just as long as I know who it is.
Scarecrow, have you noticed?
Notice what?
There aren't any birds singing. Who ever heard of a forest without birds?
Perhaps they're all asleep or gone to a wedding or something. Oh, my beautiful best hat. The only thing I've had that wasn't secondhand.
Never mind, comforted Mumfie. The hole will give it character. You can cry into my handkerchief if it helps. So Scarecrow cried into a corner of Mumfie's handkerchief, and this made him feel much better.
Exploring a forest is all right if you could keep to the edges. It's not so dark at the edges.
And if you're only on the edges, you can always step out into the open again.
I hadn't thought of that. You must know an awful lot about forests.
Well, I am made of wood, so I'm sort of part forest myself.
Oh! There's the sky again!
Look at all these notices. No laughing, no smiling, no ball games, no fun of any kind.
What an awful place!
It gets worse. No whistling, no dancing, and no singing.
Well, that explains everything, declared Mumfie.
No wonder this place is so gloomy. If you're not allowed to whistle, dance, or sing, a world without melody to me would be a dull and melancholy thing. When a silence lasts too long, I just have to start a song, and the notes pour out, and the music comes, and I'm blowing horns, and I'm banging drums. Like a circus clown, I march around the ring. Gotta dance, gotta whistle, gotta sing.
While Mumfie was singing, Scarecrow had become aware of a cold breeze rustling the branches. He was sure it had grown darker, too.
Perhaps we'd better do as they say. There may be a very good reason for all these notices.
But Mumfie just shrugged apologetically and went on singing.
When a catchy tune appeals, I just have to click my heels like a jumping jack. I just can't keep still, though I've never tried and I never will. There's no stopping me if I get half a chance. Gotta sing, gotta whistle, gotta dance.
All this while, the breeze was growing stronger.
I don't think you should sing anymore. I feel as if something awful's about to happen.
But Mumfie was enjoying himself so much that he saw no reason to stop singing or dancing either. This made Scarecrow even more nervous.
No wonder this place is so dreary. if you're not allowed to whistle, sing, or dance. A silence like this can be eerie. If you let it, it could put you in a trance. But if you just raise your voice, it'll make your heart rejoice. When the first few notes of a song you hear, all the cares and woes simply disappear. Tell this silent world that music is the king. Gotta dance, gotta whistle, gotta sing.
I shouldn't if I was you. Who said that? I did. You'll be in trouble now. I told you so, spat the cat and vanished.
Mumfie? Mumfie, where are you?
I thought adventures were meant to be fun. This isn't an adventure, this is hard work. Mumfie tried pushing the door open, but it was shut fast. He made one last big effort to break free. This wasn't a good idea at all. It's lucky that elephants, even small ones, are stronger than most animals, because Mumfie fell a very long way and was very glad to reach the bottom. Now, thought Mumfie, do I go this way or that? Then he noticed something. Perhaps that light means that there is another way back. Mumfie didn't really believe this, but was determined to say anything that would cheer himself up, and he felt so much better that he set off towards the light.
Perhaps he's hiding behind one of the trees.
Which one? They all look alike.
Oh, come on. It'll be like a game of hide and seek. You take one side of the forest, I'll take the other, and we'll soon find him.
When Mumfie reached the end of the tunnel, he couldn't believe his eyes.
It's a pig. And I do believe, oh my goodness, she's got wings.
Excuse me, whispered Mumfie, but are you Pinky's mother? Then cheer up, because we've brought her back to you. But Mumfie's news didn't make Pinky's mother happy at all. Oh no! Now the secretary will make Pinky a prisoner too. Who's the secretary? He's the one who's turned this whole island into a prison. I sent Pinky away so that she wouldn't fall into his clutches. Now she'll be trapped like everyone else. So that's why this place is so gloomy. Well, I'll have to find a way to help you both. How? Well, I'm going to think about that. Maybe I'll think faster if I take a run for it. Mumfie raced off, with the cat in noisy pursuit. Get out of my way! But the cat took no notice. Slow down. I only want you to tickle me behind the ears. Tickle you? Oh, go on. What have you got to lose? If I do, then will you get out of my way? You're lucky I can do this. You're right. I am lucky. And with that, the cat turned tail down the stairs. Mumfie continued up the stairs. But what he found there will have to wait till next time. Scarecrow and Pinky were searching everywhere for Mumfie.
Would it do any good if I had a sniff?
Go ahead. I feel like crying myself.
Not like that. I have a very good sense of smell. If I sniff around, I may discover the way that Mumfie went.
Look, here's a piece of lining from Mumfie's jacket. Well done, Pinky.
But it's sticking out of the tree.
That means the rest of the jacket must be inside with Mumfie.
Mumfie was wondering what to do next Maybe I should just find Scarecrow, he thought, and then decide. This chair belongs to Bristle?
Bristle? That's my name. Prison guard extraordinaire to His Majesty the Secretary of Night. Rule 4929, do not disturb. You just have. Can't you read?
I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I'm Mumfie.
Obviously a troublemaker. You can wait here. The Secretary's collection is long overdue for a dusting. Get to it.
Mumfie gazed at the biggest collection of bottles he had ever seen, and they had the strangest labels. Children's laughter, birds singing, bees humming. Mumfie set slowly to work.
The wind carried Mumfie away when he started singing and dancing. Perhaps if we do the same, the wind will send us in the same direction.
I'm not very good at singing. I can never remember the words.
Oh, you just sing la la la, or whatever comes into your head. La la la, or whatever comes into your head. La la la, or whatever comes into your head. La la la. It's working. Now, let's try dancing. La la la, or whatever comes into your head. La la la, or whatever comes into your head. Oh, la la. Oh. Hold tight, Pinky.
We're in!
Cried Pinky.
Where's Mumfie?
Mumfie was trying to open one of the bottles, but it was sealed tight with wax. Oh. That is definitely danger. Pinky and her mother are right about this island. Oh! Mumfie carefully edged his way towards the coughing sound. Oh! Oh, I'm so sorry. Did I disturb you too?
No. It's just the dust.
Oh, dear. Can I get you anything? Mumfie looked up at the shelves, in case he could see some cough mixture.
Get on with the dusting. No need to trouble about a poor old bird like me.
Who's this?
This, is the Queen of Night. She looked after all the island from sunset to sunrise until he took over.
Who?
Her secretary. He began by trapping all the joyful sounds in these bottles. And now, he's stolen her magic.
That must have been the secretary I saw at the window. I felt so cold.
This used to be the Queen's room. An happy room.
I can tell, just by looking at the sunshine that's left over.
Zest torn it. Get some of that gray powder in the jar just over your head. That's right. Now sprinkle it over the liquid before it soaks in.
Oh, how beautiful. It's just like the jewel in your painting.
It's the Queen's jewel, and very precious. Put it in your pocket and never lose it. Bonne chance. Good luck. If you wouldn't mind putting the cover back on.
But you're a prisoner like this.
I'm a has-been, a failure, a write-off.
But you can help me.
I can't help anyone. I couldn't even help the Queen of Night. I ran away under these covers. I did the one thing no self-respecting Raven should ever do.
What's that?
I turned chicken.
Once I had spirit, now it's been broken. Once I heard praise, but now it's unspoken. I'm just a waste of your time. I made mistakes and I can't undo them. I had my chances, sadly I blew them. I'm just a waste of your time. Like the sparrow in this song, my life is up this spout. Ever since my goose was cooked, I've nothing to crow about. Once I was famous, now I'm a loner. I'd like to help, but I'm just a Jonah. I'm just a waste of your time. And yet, deep down inside, I feel a glimmer of hope. I might salvage my pride if someone was to give me just enough hope. Yesterday's hero stripped of his medals. No more use now than a bike without pedals. I'm just wasting your time, and that's a crime. I'm just a waste of your time.
You're not wasting my time at all. I'm trying to free Pinky's mother, and I'm sure you could help me find the key to her horrid cell. You really think I can get my old spirit back? Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. Very well, then. I'm Napoleon Jones, aide to Her Majesty's the Queen of Night, back in circulation. And I'm Mumfie. Come on! Whilst Mumfie kept Pinky's mother company, Napoleon started to peck away at the pin in the hinges of the great iron door. One down, one to go. Gotcha! You've broken rule number 439B, interfering with prison property. I couldn't help myself. I was feeling peckish. And that's a highly illegal jacket your friend's wearing. What's wrong with it? It's pink. Pink is a forbidden color. Rule 265P. Nonsense. Nonsense is especially forbidden. Rules 417A, B, and C. Is there anything that isn't forbidden? Yes. Rules. This here book's full of them. Anyone disturbing the peace or interfering with the secretary's plans to create eternal darkness must be locked away forever, including you. It's rude to point. Rule, 709 pence. Bristle had never heard of Rule 709 pence. The Secretary of Night shall decide your punishment. Now, put that pin back. Do it yourself. Oh, yes? Yes. Well done, whispered Mumfie. And for the first time in ages, there was a proud gleam in Napoleon's old eyes. Is the Secretary of Night really so terrible? A rotter of the first rank. Cold as a fish with a face like a flounder to match. On your marks. And don't try and run, or I'll break you into little pieces. But Bristle's threats gave Mumfie an idea. He still had one paper napkin left from the picnic on the beach. If he made a trail, then maybe Scarecrow and Pinky would find it. Follow me, ordered Bristle, who loved orders even more than rules. He stumped off briskly and never noticed Mumfie scattering the pieces of paper behind him. But what happens then, we'll have to wait until next time. Scarecrow and Pinky had discovered the paper trail left by Mumfie.
Mumfie must have gone this way.
Pinky called to Scarecrow.
Follow me.
There's somebody coming. Quick, hide.
The secretary's shadowy figure that Mumfie had first seen at the window now entered the room.
When the Queen's jewel is set into this ring, my power will be complete. Is the formula ready?
Nearly. The potion is brewed, and the powder is ground. It remains only to mix them.
You may leave that to me. Well, where is it, you useless Mangy feline furball.
Before the cat could answer, the secretary suddenly remembered.
The little elephant was in this room. The little elephant has taken the formula. You're late.
He howled to the wind.
We'll search the island while the night wind is here. If we don't find that little elephant, then my god Bristle already has him prisoner.
Mumfie continued to leave a trail for Scarecrow to follow.
Hurry along there. Hurry along. We mustn't keep the Secretary of Night waiting.
But Mumfie wanted to talk to Napoleon.
Why is this jewel so precious?
He whispered, making sure it was safely tucked in his pocket. Because it contains a formula that the Queen says is a treasure beyond price. That's why it must never fall into the hands of the wicked secretary. What is the formula? Nobody knows except the Queen and her secretary, of course. But you have all that is left of the formula in your pocket. Oh, I wish Scarecrow was here. I hope he finds us soon. Scarecrow was trying his hardest to find Mumfie.
Oh, what a beautiful garden.
Suddenly, from out of the shadows, they heard a voice.
Who are you?
Said the lady.
And what are you doing in my garden?
I'm sorry if we were trespassing. We're trying to find our friend Mumfie.
I am Her Majesty, Queen of Night.
Scarecrow immediately fell to one knee. Someone had once told him, that's what you do when you meet Her Majesties.
You look very sad, Your Majesty.
My secretary wishes to turn all that is good to evil. He has stolen my cloak of dreams, with all my magic woven through it, and locked up all who live here.
What does the cloak look like?
It is big enough to cover the world, and small enough to fit into a thimble.
Well, it certainly sounds distinctive enough. I give you my word, Your Majesty. As soon as we've found Mumfie...
And my mother.
And Pinky's mother, our next task will be to recover your cloak.
Wait! You've forgotten your umbrella.
We'll look after it.
The umbrella twinkled with stars, and Scarecrow was so busy admiring them that for a few moments he noticed nothing but their brightness. There was Scarecrow.
What are you staring at?
Nothing, really, said Mumfie happily.
What a lovely lake.
Lake? This is the ice floor of the Queen of Night's palace. Correction. The Secretary of Night's palace, and he'll be passing a heavy sentence on you. No more nattering till we get a pair of skates that fit you.
Why is the palace floor made of ice? What else would a palace floor be made of? Besides, this ice makes it very awkward for unauthorized persons to get into the palace.
Put these on.
Are you going to skate too? Wouldn't you be more comfortable flying? Bristle began to laugh in that creaky way that usually means someone is about to say something nasty.
When the Secretary came to power, first thing he did was to clip that old bird's wings. His flying days are over. Forever.
Napoleon did his best to ignore Bristle's taunts. I'll help you with your skates, and then you can help me with mine. It was against the rules for Bristle to ask for help, so he had to put his skates on himself. This was Mumfie's chance. On the last scrap of the napkin, he wrote, "Skates in the box seat. Follow tracks on ice." Ready? I've never, skated before. I'm no ballet expert myself, but we'll manage somehow.
First make certain that the ice bears your weight. Play for safety when you're learning to skate. Turn your toes out, push off left and then right. Now you've got it. Well, maybe not quite. Take my wing and do what I do. Don't be nervous, nice and easy. Yes, that's it. You really got it. You've become a skater.
I've become a skater. Hear how they hiss when the skates kiss the ice. Isn't it nice to go skating? Heavenly bliss must be something like this.
It's paradise
when you're skating. First it was scary, but now this is great.
Given this chance, I'll do figures of 8.
I tell you, this is a thrill you can't miss. Hey, look at me. I'm skating.
Meanwhile, Scarecrow had found the message.
This is definitely Mumfie's writing. You can see the trouble he took over it.
To Scarecrow's surprise, he managed to pick up skating quite easily.
I didn't know you could skate.
Neither did I. If it wasn't for Mumfie,
Thought Scarecrow.
I'd still be stuck in a field. Life can bring the most wonderful surprises.
Then aloud he cried,
To the rescue!
To the rescue!
Oops!
The secret of skating is more than just speed. If you rush, it's a cinch that you'll fail. But if you just try it one step at a time, soon you'll glide like a ship under sail. So don't try to run before walking.
You've got to learn balance and grace.
The bullies who think that they're rocket propelled are the ones who fall flat on their face. Remember, it isn't a race.
Mumfie!
You'll get your fill of goodwill and good fun. Now you've begun to go skating. Don't mind the chill and occasional spill. Everyone ought to go skating. When you first start, you may wobble and droop. Give yourself time, you'll be looping the loop. It's such a thrill when you master a skill. Look at you now. You're skating. You're skating. You're skating.
out like a light with a bulb gun. Later, Mumfie told Scarecrow about the Queen's jewel. Shall we give it back to her now?
Best not. The secretary is bound to steal it again.
We've got to make sure this jewel is really safe then. But how they did this, we'll have to wait till next time. Everyone was trying to think of a way to hide the Queen's jewel from her wicked secretary. We'll put the Queen's jewel inside Whale. Then we'll know that it's safe.
You'll have to start your journey right away. There's no time to lose. How are we gonna get there?
I'd offer to take the Queen's jewel myself, but I've nowhere to put it.
But you could fly ahead and tell Whale that we need him. Pinky didn't reply. She was worried about leaving her mother alone again. Mumfie guessed what she was thinking. Your mother wants you to be safe. She'll feel happier if you leave the island for now. Besides, this is important work. She'll be proud of you.
I'll do it. It'll be my first solo long-distance flight, non-stop.
Without another word, she launched herself into the air and disappeared.
Useless. That's all I am. Useless.
Nonsense. It would be a great help if you would go back and explain to Pinky's mother what we're doing.
Useless, useless.
Still muttering
useless.
mournfully, Napoleon did as he was asked. Scarecrow and Mumfie looked at each other. Have you thought of anything?
No.
Well, let's put up the Queen's umbrella, and we'll both sit underneath it. It will be easier to think in the dark. Help! We're taking off! Oh! Oh! Oh!
Have you still got the jewel?
Yes, it's here, safe and sound. This is just like magic. This is magic. The Queen's magic. There must be some left in her umbrella. The wind carried them higher and higher into the air.
Goodness gracious! Just look down there, Mumfie.
I daresn't.
Oh, but look, Mumfie, look!
There, far below them, lay the island, gradually disappearing in a mist of cloud.
Free as air. Can't you feel your spirit soar without a care? Don't look back, don't you dare. You'll find beyond the clouds that lie ahead, a brighter world waits for you there. So spread your wings, ride the sky. Let the breezes that surround you lift you high. Now at last you can see why everyone ought to be free as air.
Oh, look! The ocean is covered in silver.
And can you see what I see, Mumfie?
It's Whale and Pinky. Let's wave to them. Oh my gosh! Mumfie watched the Queen's jewel falling far away from him, disappearing down into the depths of the ocean. Oh.
How splendid to see you again! Pinky tells me you need my help.
It isn't splendid at all. I've lost the Queen's jewel. It fell into the sea. We'll never find it now.
Never say never. You need a first-class navigator, and I know just the man. But you'll have to find him first. There's someone waiting inside who can tell you all about him. Mrs. Admiral, I'd like to introduce you to some friends of mine. They're in a bit of a pickle themselves.
What perfect timing! I've just made hot buttered scones and a fresh pot of tea. After Mrs. Admiral had heard their story, she began to tell her own.
If I look upset, if you see me frown, it's all because my world's been turned upside down. I used to be half of a happy man and wife, but listen to the crisis that has changed my life. On the day we were wed, my old man said to me, let's find a little cottage on the bottom of the sea. It would be so much fun, we could share a few larks, scampering with Scampy, rubbing shoulders with sharks. So off with our socks, off with our shoes, searching through the ooze. I've got those low down, bottom of the ocean blues. Well, it wasn't too long till we found our new home, 20 leagues down under where the puffer fishes roam. It was heaven on sea, we had good times galore, training sea anemones to grow round our door. Life had become a luxury cruise, had so much to lose. I've got those low down, bottom of the ocean blues. For 40 long years, we just hadn't a care. But suddenly my hubby vanished into thin air. He went out to milk the sea cow, but he never came back. I'm certain he's the victim of a pirate attack. He disappeared, left no clues. I'm starved for news. I've got those low down, bottom of the ocean, so down you couldn't have a notion. Low down, bottom of the ocean blues.
told the police?
Lord love you. We don't have police under the sea.
You really live under the sea?
We're a part aquatic family. Lived on seabed for as long as I can remember. So much quieter down there. Except for them pesky pirates.
Maybe the pirates have found the Queen's jewel.
Wouldn't put it past them. Anything's possible with them pirates.
Sorry about that. Pirates on the port bow.
That's Davy Jones's ship. They discovered rich pickings under the waves long ago.
Under the waves? You mean they can sail underwater?
Hang on!
Boomed Whale and immediately dived. Whale descended deeper into the ocean. Mumfie and the others were glad when Whale switched on the lights. But this was a bad mistake. The lights could clearly be seen by the pirates through the darkness.
We're near your home, Mrs. Admiral,
whispered Whale.
Best jump ship while I lead the pirates a merry dance.
I'll keep Whale company,
decided Pinky, who preferred not to get her wings wet. Mumfie didn't like swimming either, but there was no time to argue. Breathing under the water wasn't a problem because Mumfie is a special elephant and Scarecrow part made of wood.
Join hands. We have to stick together or you may get lost.
Then, Whale made his second mistake. He flapped his tail.
Oh!
Oh! Oh! Help! Oh! Help! Oh!
Mumfie, Scarecrow, and Mrs. Admiral spun off in different directions through the muddy darkness of the ocean. Scarecrow floated the furthest. There was no sign of the others.
Mumfie!
Then, in the distance, he saw a sudden flash of light. Scarecrow found that he could now manage walking quite easily. Stranger still, he no longer felt wet or cold.
It can't be,
murmured Scarecrow. But it was.
It's a lighthouse under the sea. Maybe Mumfie has seen it too. Perhaps he is waiting for me there at this very minute.
This idea made Scarecrow feel so happy that he started to run towards the lighthouse. But what happens when he gets there, we'll have to wait till next time. Determinedly searching for Mumfie, Scarecrow drew nearer to the lighthouse at the bottom of the sea. He read the notice pinned upon the door.
If you can't reach the knocker, ring the bell. P.S. You'd better have a jolly good reason for doing either. I've got a jolly good reason for doing either. I'm looking for my best friend.
So he not only knocked, he rang the bell loudly as well.
Yes?
I'm sorry to disturb you, but I'm looking for my friend Mumfie.
And what's a mumph when it's at home?
It's an elephant. Only very little, stands on 2 legs, and wears a pink jacket.
A jacket like this one?
Where did you get that?
My good friend at the shop. Give it to me. He thought I could use it to polish the lighthouse lamps.
But it's all torn.
Ah, yes? The shark's teeth must have done that.
Oh, no. You don't think the shark could have
eaten your friend the mumph? More than likely. But they don't mean nothing about it. It's just the way.
Scarecrow felt tears spring in his eyes.
I'll have it at the back now. If your friends have been eaten, he certainly won't be needing a jacket. Although, come to think, I did see a funny-looking object with a wobbly legs bumbling about aimless-alike towards the sand dunes.
That's Mumfie. I must find him.
Impetuous a bundle of sticks.
But Scarecrow was already too far away to hear. Meanwhile, Whale was being chased by the pirates.
Take care, Whale. I think they're catching up with us.
I'm doing my best. Steady yourself, Pinky. This will be a deep dive.
murmured Scarecrow.
Could that be Mrs. Admiral's house?
And it was!
Scarecrow! Thank Neptune you're safe.
I may be safe, but Mumfie isn't.
Mrs. Admiral hurried Scarecrow inside.
What's this about, Mumfie?
Scarecrow took a deep breath,
I think he's been eaten by a shark.
and he held out his handkerchief in case she needed it. But Mrs. Admiral's reaction to the news was not what Scarecrow expected at all.
How can you laugh?
Just you wait and see.
Mrs. Admiral lifted up the cover of the big dish. Underneath was an enormous pile of mashed potatoes. And behind that was Mumfie.
Mumfie! Scarecrow!
I gave that shark my jacket in return for showing me the way here. So I'm wearing one of Mr. Admiral's cast-offs, cut down to size.
Now sit down and have your supper.
All the excitement had made them very hungry. And Mrs. Admiral had made the mashed potatoes just the way Mumfie liked them. Creamy, white, and fluffy. Like the sheets in the bedroom where they were to sleep that night. Mrs. Admiral had also altered 2 pairs of her husband's pajamas. Mumfie didn't want to be ungrateful, but he kept wishing she'd altered them just a little bit more. They're rather floppy.
Better to be floppy than too tight and pinching.
I hope you won't find the room too stuffy. We can't open the windows in case the fish get in.
But Mumfie and Scarecrow said they were sure they'd both be very comfortable. So she wished them good night, and they both got ready for bed.
When the sun goes to rest and the moon sheds its beams, it's time to cast off on a voyage of dreams. Your bed is your boat, the sheets are your sails, the walls of your bedroom protect you from gales. When your eyes stop to droop and your prayers have been said, you pull back the covers and climb aboard bed. Oh, how wide, oh, how deep, you will glide on an ocean of sleep. Your dreams lead you on, while the night winds sigh like a lullaby until dawn.
This is a real adventure for me.
You mean being underwater?
No, sleeping in a real bed. I've only ever slept in a hammock in Whale. And before that, standing up in the middle of a field.
Mumfie thought it must be very hard to sleep standing up. This made him snuggle even further into the sheets. We must find Whale tomorrow, and the Queen's jewel, and maybe even the Admiral. Scarecrow was just about to ask how they would do this all in one day when he fell asleep.
Your pillow so soft is the deck of your ship. Your bed knows the way, so you'll have a safe trip. Your crew numbers 1, that sailor is you. Your captain and bosun and cabin boy too. So turn out the light at the end of the day, and quick as a wink you'll be drifting away. Oh, how wide, oh, how deep, you will glide on an ocean of sleep. Your dreams lead you on, while the night winds sigh like a lullaby until dawn. Oh, how wide, oh, how deep, you will glide on an ocean of sleep. Your dreams lead you on, while the night winds sigh
Beyond the bedroom window, the real ocean hugged the little house all night long, whispering the many secrets an ocean shares only with itself. Thank you for mending my coat, Mrs. Admiral.
Come on, Mumfie, I have an idea. All this searching is going to be a long job.
Do you think it's going to be a very long job? I mean, do you think it is likely to keep us until after dinner? Perhaps we better take something along with us. You know how you always get hungry, Scarecrow. At that moment, Mrs. Admiral produced a picnic basket with lunch and dinner inside. Then she gave them a last word of advice. Davy Jones, the captain of them pirates, is a dark and dangerous man. So be on your guard at all times. Look, Scarecrow. There's a lot of big sponges growing over there. I wonder if they grow soap down here, too. All that morning, they crossed the wide expanse of sand. But although they saw many strange and wonderful things, there was no sign of Whale or Mr. Admiral. These cliffs look more interesting.
It's going to be jolly hard to climb them.
Perhaps we won't have to. Look! At the base of the cliff was the entrance to a big cave. If I was a pirate, that's just the sort of place I'd store my treasure. As they drew nearer, they both knew that Mumfie was right. Skull and crossbones.
That means pirates.
Isn't this exciting? But Scarecrow was more than a little afraid. As he looked at the dark mouth of the cave, he suddenly felt homesick for the dull, empty field he'd left so long ago. Mumfie looked up at him and smiled. Ready?
Ready.
So they stepped carefully into the shadows of the mysterious cave. But what happened then, we'll have to wait till next time. Pretending very hard not to be frightened, Mumfie and Scarecrow edged into the eerie darkness of the pirate cave. Have you ever met any pirates, Scarecrow?
Not sea pirates. The farm I looked after was too far away from the beach.
Then, have you met any farm pirates?
Not many. I think you only get them on fish farms.
Mumfie nodded, and then after a little pause, he added nervously, "Do they ever have fish farms in caves, Scarecrow?" Scarecrow was just about to suggest that perhaps this cave was a little too dark for fish farms, pirates, or anything else, when something happened.
What was that?
Before Mumfie could answer, it happened again. I feel all crackly. Scarecrow, are my ears sticking up?
I don't know. But whatever it was, I wish it had lasted longer so we could see where we're going.
Mumfie was trying hard not to slip on the wet, slimy rocks. Oops. Suddenly, he felt himself going and grabbed hold of Scarecrow. But it was too late. This is rubbing a hole in my trousers. Mumfie was beginning to enjoy the ride.
More tatters. I hope we don't meet anyone important down here. I can't seem to keep myself respectable.
By now, it was so dark that they could see nothing at all. Oh! Dead end. We'll have to turn back. There was no reply. Scarecrow? Are you all right? Mumfie began to feel afraid. Scarecrow, please say something. Mumfie saw that he was alone in the empty cave. I think I'd like this bit of the adventure to be over now. Whatever is going to happen next? Oh! You're a fish, said Mumfie. I'm an eel, said the eel. Electric eel? You don't get electric fish in here, do you? I don't know. Well, I'm telling you, you don't. And the eel crackled again. You're very bright. Thank you. I always was bright, even as a child. Wait a bit. I'll turn myself down. No point in wasting electricity. And what are you? I'm lost. I mean, I've lost my friend Scarecrow. Is that the skinny fella with the sticking out hair? Mumfie secretly thought this was an unkind but true description of his missing friend. Have you seen him? You went one way, and he went the other. I thought you'd had an argument.
Mumfie, where are you?
That's Scarecrow. And as quick as a flash, the eel replied, follow my light. With the help of the electric eel. Oh! Mumfie and Scarecrow were soon reunited. Now, back to business. We're looking for pirates. Can you help us find them? Don't talk to me about pirates. They got a nasty habit of sticking us electric eels in jam jars just to light up their outdoor barbecues. You couldn't fit in a jam jar. Pirates can fit us in anything they want. If they catch us, we're trying to find Mr. Admiral. We're afraid the pirates may have captured him. This way. Let's look on the bright side. And without another word, Eel set off at a crackling pace.
We must be coming out on the other side.
Oh, Scarecrow! Just look at this! There below them, lying in the middle of a seaweed forest, was the pirate ship, Sea Witch. What are the pirates doing? Eel giggled. Singing. Listen.
There's no escaping the Buccaneers. If you're afloat, we'll find you. Should you happen to sail too near, keep on looking behind you. Without a warning, we'll be there with the guns and the fleet set. As you sink, we'll give a cheer. Sorry to get your feet wet. 'Cause we're bad, mad, dangerous, and no. All away, me hearties, with a hearty hey-ho. When we wait for Jolly Roger, you'll be quivering with fear. 'Cause you're cruising for a bruising with a Buccaneer.
Now you can see what you're up against. Yes, indeed. But I'm sure we'll find the Admiral in that pirate ship, so we have to go there. Come on. That was one of the things Scarecrow liked best about Mumfie.
He's not a what-ifer,
he thought to himself. What-ifer was Scarecrow's name for people who would say things like, what if he's not on board the ship? Or, what if we are captured by pirates? Deep down, Scarecrow felt he was a bit of a what-ifer himself. On board the Sea Witch, Captain Davy Jones and his crew's noisy reveling grew louder and louder.
We search the ocean for pirate loot. We sail whatever the weather. Our skin's as tough as an old sea boot. Our face as hard as leather. We've broken teeth and a bruiser's nose like soft-boiled eggs or prizes. If we entered a beauty show, we wouldn't win any prizes. 'Cause we're bad, mad, dangerous, and no. All away, me hearties, with a hearty hey-ho. When we wave a Jolly Roger, you'll be quivering with fear. 'Cause you're cruising for a bruising with a Buccaneer. No, we're vicious as pirates go. We're not as black as we're painted. We never tread on a lady's toe or tickle a man when he's fainted. And when again in port we lie, all evil thoughts we smother. We even put on a shirt and tie before we visit our mother. Still we're bad, mad, dangerous, and no. All away, me hearties, with a hearty hey-ho. When we wave our Jolly Roger, you'll be quivering with fear. 'Cause you're cruising for a bruising, it won't be of your choosing. Cruising for a bruising with a big, bad Buccaneer.
As Mumfie, Scarecrow, and Eel crept towards the ship, Eel grew especially bright. We're very grateful for your help, but it's not very easy to creep up on anyone with you crackling so much. Sorry, but the nearer I get to these pirates, the angrier I become. Jam jars, you understand?
Of course. If anyone tried to put any of my relatives in a jam jar, I'd feel just the same way.
How well do you know the waters round here?
Like the back of my hat. Why? Do you want me to shed a bit of light on something?
Whale. We'd like you to find him. And Pinky. And make sure they're both safe. If you can.
'Cause I can,
Flashed the eel.
See you later.
And she darted away. Silently, Mumfie and Scarecrow began their search. Scarecrow, there's a man in there with red hair. I'm sure it's the Admiral. He looks just like the man in the photo that Mrs. Admiral showed to us. Mumfie started tapping on the porthole to get the man's attention. But Scarecrow was having an attack of the what-ifers.
What if it wasn't the Admiral? What if he's a pirate instead? What if he's deaf?
But the Admiral wasn't deaf. "We found him!" shouted Mumfie. "We found the Admiral!" But what happened then? We'll have to wait till next time. Mumfie and Scarecrow climbed aboard the pirate ship Sea Witch in their search for the Admiral.
And what do you think you're doing?
Mumfie thought he had never seen so much nastiness glaring out of one eye. He was very glad that the pirate didn't have two.
Answer my question, you dogs.
I'm not a dog. I'm an elephant. This answer confused the pirate so much that he decided to be fiercer still.
Get up that rope ladder, and let's have no more of your sauce.
I haven't given you any sauce, cheese or otherwise. This made the pirate roar even more.
1,000,001.
On deck,
1,000,000.
Captain Davy Jones was counting up the day's takings.
Who's this horrible-looking thing?
He said, glaring at Mumfie. I don't know, said Mumfie, looking at the pirate. He didn't give his name.
Not him! You!
How do you do? My name is Mumfie, and this is Scarecrow.
This is Nasty Nate, the scourge of the forecastle, and I'm the wicked Captain Davy Jones.
How do you do? Said Mumfie, bowing politely. The captain was so surprised by this, he bowed back. Scarecrow put out his hand, but the captain ignored it.
Never mind all the la-di-da-ness. What are you doing here?
We've been looking for the Admiral.
Admiral? You mean our washer boy, don't you?
For some reason, the pirates found all this very funny.
Oh, I don't think the Admiral's a boy. He's got a big red beard. Take these scurvy swabs to the laundry room. They're all washed up, just like the Admiral.
And he laughed a very nasty laugh of the kind pirates perfect during their years of villainy on the high seas. Meanwhile, the electric eel continued her searching for Whale and Pinky. She was growing tired, and this made her cross with herself. Sparks flew everywhere as she explored a particularly rocky part of the seabed. At last, her patience was rewarded.
There he is. Looks like you're in a spot of trouble. Your friends will be glad I found you.
I'd be much obliged if you'd turn your lights down. I'd rather not be seen in this sorry state.
It's not your fault.
Eel took a closer look at the strong steel ropes that surrounded him.
It's those pesky pirates. And by the look of these ropes, they've certainly been up to their old tricks again. But there's one good thing about it.
What's that?
You're much too big for a jam jar.
Now, good looking. I think I can get you out of this net, but I'll need a little help from my friends. I'll be back in a flash. By now, Mumfie and Scarecrow had reached the darkest, most rat-infested corner of the ship. The Admiral wasn't at all pleased to have visitors. He scowled at Nasty Nate.
What do you want now, you lime-scappered prawn-withered galley-pickled sprat-brain?
Nasty Nate couldn't cope with so many insults all at once and almost burst into tears.
I've brought you some helpers. And by the way, Captain Jones said that the last batch of shirts had too much starch in them. So watch it.
The Admiral turned to Mumfie.
I saw you gawping at me through the portal. What are you, friend or foe?
Oh, friend. Mrs. Admiral asked us to find you. She misses you very much.
And don't I miss the old girl?
You seem to hate washing so much. Why don't you refuse to do it?
Because if I don't, they'll kidnap my old girl and make her do it instead. There's no escaping from my fate.
Don't worry. We've come to rescue you. There must be some way out of here.
Perhaps we could, break the door down. You saw how thick it was.
Well, at least we can try. One, 2, 3, push! This way, ladies.
What are you going to do?
Rescue you, of course. We're all going to line up alongside these steel ropes. In order to cut through them, we have to generate a very large amount of sparks at extremely high temperatures. And the only way we can do that is by becoming very angry indeed.
Angry? I don't understand.
Listen, and I'll explain it to you.
I'd like to demonstrate if you let me the skill all eels are said to possess. I store away the things that upset me, get me, fret me, to put to use in moments of stress. So, hey now, get out of my way now. Oh now, I'm starting to glow now. 'Cause when I list the things I hate, I start to boil and generate real eel electricity. I hate the squid with tentacles flabby. I hate those carp who always complain. Then there's this one particular Gabby crab. He grabs me and gaps till I go out of my brain. So say now, I'm brighter than day now. Look now, I'm starting to cook now. 'Cause these are favorite things produce. The recipe to make the juice. Real eel electricity. Sand apps dabbling where it don't concern them. Dogfish who keep howling at the moon. Oyster beds who never change their linen. And jellyfish who won't stay on the spoon. So there now, I'm hot as a flare now. Stop now, I'm ready to pop now. I feel the power inside me grow. I save it up until I know it's almost time to let it go. The fizzing like a firework show, flashing like a dynamo. I throw the switch and there's your row. Real eel electricity.
Well done, ladies. Dismiss.
I like it. She makes me all blubbery. I like it. Hey, I think I found Mr. Right Whale.
You'd better swim to the surface, Whale. You'll be a lot safer there.
Thank you very much. But I'm not going anywhere. Mumfie and Scarecrow may need me here.
Whale still felt very badly about the time he'd first met his friends, and then left them to make their own way to Pinky's island. I'll find out if they need you, but I'll have to lie down first and recharge my batteries. That's it, all done. And Eel whizzed away as fast as she could towards the pirate ship. Mumfie, Scarecrow, and the Admiral had tried hard to open the heavy cabin door. They felt tired and depressed. Suddenly, Mumfie had an idea. What about the porthole?
Nothing can get through here except fish.
At that very moment, through the opening came Eel. I freed Whale.
But now we're prisoners ourselves.
This is a fine kettle of fish you've got yourselves into. At least they haven't tried to stuff you in a jam jar. Jam jar? You're not thinking of holding an outdoor barbecue, are you? Eel was remembering how pirates loved to jam electric eels in jam jars as fairy lights for their parties. No, of course not. Now listen. But what Mumfie told them, we'll have to wait until next time. Down in Davy Jones's locker, deep in the bowels of the pirate ship's Sea Witch, the captain peered through his periscope. At that moment, the wicked Secretary of Night flew into his sight with an offer the captain could not refuse.
Captain Jones, I have need of your services. If you can find the Queen's jewel of power and bring it to me, then I shall rule the land, and you, the seas.
This idea appealed to the captain so much that he immediately began preparations for his search. Imprisoned elsewhere in the ship, Mumfie described his plan for escape by getting a message back to Napoleon in the Queen's palace. Scarecrow wasn't at all sure.
What if the old bird can't be found? What if the evil secretary has caught him instead? What if he can't read? Putting a message in a bottle is a fine nautical custom, but it could be years before the bottle is washed up anywhere. Not if Eel guided it to the beach.
Scarecrow wanted to make up for sounding so gloomy. What a good idea! We'll need Pinky too. Listen. Whale was waiting patiently for news of his friends. Eel told him about Mumfie's plan. I know all the shortcuts through these waters, and I can hide more easily than you if the pirates try to catch me. So it's best if I take the message.
Then I shall stay on guard between here and the surface.
I wouldn't want to desert my friends either. Then Eel darted along the line of portholes in search of Pinky. Dear Napoleon, we have been captured by underwater pirates. Here is a map of our whereabouts. Anything you can do to help would be much appreciated. Hope you are well and that this finds you as it leaves us. Kindest regards from Mumfie, Scarecrow, and the Admiral. When Eel appeared at the porthole, Mumfie thought that she was alone. Didn't you find Pinky? Yes, of course I did. Well, where is she? I'll show you, but keep it under your hat. I know Pinky is afraid to get her wings wet, and this way she won't get them wet at all. Everyone wished Pinky and Eel good luck, and with a last wave of her tail, Eel was gone. No one on deck noticed her wriggling towards the surface. Only the lookout in the crow's nest saw her pass. But he just shrugged to himself and thought,
An eel with a bottle. Yet another unsolved mystery of the deep.
And went back to writing postcards home.
Now all we can do is wait, I suppose. And iron a few of these pesky pants.
We'll help, said Mumfie. That's what friends are for. Isn't that right, Scarecrow?
I suppose so. I never had friends before.
Friendship is a circle that grows wider every day, like the ripples spreading on a pond. Throw a pebble in the water, see the circles grow. Day by day the heart becomes more fond. When the rain is falling, see the circles that it makes. Who knows where one starts or where it ends? Little waves that intermingle, kiss and then move on. That's the way it flows when you have friends. Open arms, always full of welcome. Open eyes to look out for you. Open minds, eager to believe you. Wide and wider though it grows. Friendship is a circle that never will close. If you're not so lucky and you haven't got a friend, maybe you've made circles all alone. Castle walls are made to last and keep the world away, but the heart must never be of stone. If you've built a wall around you, try to break it down. Friends begin where fear and doubting end. Like the ripples spreading if you open up your life, soon you'll feel the handshake of a friend. Open doors, ready to receive you. Open ears to enjoy your news. Open hearts, spilling out affection. Round and round the feeling goes. Friendship is a circle, on and on forever. Friendship is a circle that never will close.
Far away, above the pirate ship Sea Witch, Eel reached the surface at last.
Thank goodness. It was getting very stuffy under there. I'll lead the way now if you like.
Don't go too fast. My batteries are running low again. Summoning up all her strength, Eel began battling her way toward Pinky's island. The tide was against her, and she could feel her strength ebbing away with every stroke of her tail.
I'll have to rest for a moment.
It's further than I thought.
We should have used a smaller bottle.
Eel's aching jaws could hold the bottle no longer. It started to drift away. Eel was too weak to stop it. But Pinky wasn't tired at all.
Oh, well done, Pinky. But your wings are getting wet. But they still work anyway. This is fun. Tell me when you're ready.
So Eel rested against the rock and soon brightened up again.
Come on. We're nearly at the beach.
Meanwhile, Mumfie had been making further plans for escape.
How do we look? No odder than some of the coves that work for Davy Jones. But how are we gonna get out of here?
The answer came sooner than expected. It was Nasty Nate, with more dirty washing.
Who are you?
The disguises were getting him in a muddle.
I've seen you somewheres before, haven't I?
I'm a new crew member. With orders to give the prisoner some exercise on deck.
I'd have thought all this ironing was exercise enough. But if it's captain's orders...
Scarecrow had difficulty seeing through the gap in the pirate's coat.
Hurry up, you miserable numbskull!
We're out, whispered Mumfie. Pinky and Eel reached the island at last.
Now it's up to you, Pinky. But this bottle is too heavy for you to carry. Just a minute.
Eel watched Pinky carry the message into the mist. Then she slid back into the water and started her long journey home. At first, Pinky was lost. She had found the paper trail, but she had followed it the wrong way. It brought her back to her mother's cell. Pinky longed to wake her.
Best not,
she said to herself firmly.
She'll be free soon enough, if I can get this message to Napoleon in time.
Pinky decided to trace the paper back to the place where Napoleon had last been seen. In front of her was the ice floor, but there was no sign of Napoleon. Pinky turned sadly away. Suddenly, Pinky heard something.
Napoleon!
Bristle woke up just after your bunch escaped and thought this box was the best place for me. I've been trying to pick my way out ever since.
Here's a message for you from Mumfie.
409B, 417F, 262436, hike.
It's Bristle. Time to beat a hasty retreat.
But we can't go back, and you don't have time to put on skates.
Then there's no way out. But Pinky had an idea.
Oh, yes, there is.
But what that idea might be, we'll have to wait until next time.
Bristle will be here any minute.
Oh! Then I'm afraid we're trapped. Pinky looked at the vast ice floor of the Queen's palace.
No, we're not. You've got wings. You can fly like me.
It's impossible. I had my wings clipped long ago.
How long ago?
Oh, ages and ages ago.
Well, perhaps they've grown back again. It's your only chance.
I wonder. Napoleon stretched out first one wing, then the other.
They look pretty healthy to me, and I don't think I can fly back to find Whale all by myself.
Well, if you're willing to risk it...
Oh! I'll risk it!
cried Pinky. And the next moment, they were up and away. Napoleon's wings were a little stiff after months of disuse, but they were soon working perfectly.
Try, only try. If you take a chance, then chances are you'll fly. Don't look down, by and by. You'll find beyond the clouds that lie ahead a safer world awaits your eye. So spread your wings, ride the sky. Let the breezes that surround you lift you high. Now at last you can see why everyone ought to be free, free as air.
Let's hope we can spot Whale soon.
Pinky sniffed the air, but all she could smell was the salt from the sea below.
I'll just have to do my best to remember. I think we should head in the direction of those waves over there. And I'll tell you all about the pirates as we go. Look! There he is!
On board the Sea Witch, a pirate was swabbing the deck as a punishment for not eating up all his breakfast. Nasty Nate stepped out on the deck. He still did not realize that the pirate escorting the Admiral was really Mumfie and Scarecrow in disguise. Not much room to exercise here, said Mumfie hopefully. We'll just take him for a run round the boat instead.
Are you sure this is according to Captain's orders?
Why don't you ask him?
Ask him what?
It was Captain Davy Jones himself. He stared at the mysterious pirate.
Who's this? I don't know, but his face is very familiar.
His coat's even more familiar. It's mine.
Unfortunately, Mumfie had chosen Captain Jones's favorite outfit.
Take it off, you scurvy dog.
All right, but you're going to get an awful shock. Oh! Something bright was shining out of the captain's pocket. Mumfie was amazed. It's the Queen's jewel, he thought to himself. The captain's got the Queen's jewel.
It's them stowaways.
The captain prepared to strike, but the Admiral was too quick for him. got it!
After them!
Hey, where did they go? Get him!
By the time the pirates had recovered, Mumfie and the others had reached the forest of seaweed and were running for their lives. Captain Jones searched into the seaweed forest, but it was the lookout who spotted the runaways.
There they go, Captain. 20 degrees north by northwest.
Action stations!
Roared the captain and raced to the wheel.
Our quarry's gone. Put out more sail. The chase is on. To find their trail. We're underway. They can't be far. What did I say? Look, there they are. The runaways are dead ahead, and though they're moving at a lick, our boat is moving faster, so we'll overtake them pretty quick. It won't take long to ring the bell to signify that all is well. The Admiral and chums will soon be safely back inside his cell.
We're out of breath, but do our best. We're scared to death, no time to rest. In all this weed, we're slow as snails. Put on some speed, they're on our tails. We're running faster than we run, our legs grow numb, they feel like logs. We turn around and oh my gosh, they're at our heels with tracker dogs. Our pace increases, yet I fear they're closing in. The end is near. If only we could wave a wand and somehow make us disappear.
Our quarry's gone. Put out more sail.
Do our best.
The chase is on.
We're scared to death.
We found the trail.
Time to rest.
We're on our way.
In all this weed,
They can't be far.
We're slow as snails.
What did I say?
Put on some speed.
Look, there they are.
They're on our tails.
The chase is coming to an end. We're slowing down and soon they'll stop. They're very tired and out of breath. At any moment they must drop. They should be made of sterner stuff to win the race. You must be tough. They did their best, but sad to say their best just wasn't good enough.
Now we've got you. Hardy, har, har. Now you're in.
The sea witch grew closer and closer. All was surely lost. But it wasn't. The net that had once held Whale to the seabed suddenly fell from above,
Come on, cut it out.
trapping the pirates like angry wasps. And there was Eel and all her helpers, making sure the net was securely in place.
Legal. They can't be doing this. What?
Well done, ladies. A first-class job.
It's Whale! Then through the portholes, they caught sight of Pinky and Napoleon Jones.
Come now, my friends, and climb aboard.
Whale was so busy making sure the net around the sea witch was good and tight that he didn't see Davy Jones making his escape. Napoleon addressed the pirates.
In the name of Her Majesty, Queen of Night, I order you to sail the 7 seas for 7 friendless years.
Oh, come on.
What if they get lonely?
Scarecrow remembered very well what it was like to be friendless.
And if you get lonely and are really sorry for all your wrongdoings, then you'll be given a very nice job looking after the canoes on the Royal Boating Pond. And the Admiral here will take charge of your fine ship, the Sea Witch.
If you'd like to go below, sir, I think you'll find someone waiting for you.
Who is it?
I think I can guess. The admirals were so pleased to see each other that they couldn't say a word and just hugged all the way home. The sea anemones looked prettier and brighter than ever before. Mumfie suddenly thought of his own empty home and felt rather sad. Would you come and see me someday? I've plenty of room.
Lord love you. Of course we will. We were just saying how much we miss our holidays up there. It gets so wet on the seabed in winter.
Before parting, the Admiral gave Mumfie and Scarecrow each a present as a token of his gratitude. Now we really must be going. We still have very important work to do on Pinky's Island. And with a last goodbye, Whale sped back up towards the surface. I fear the secretary must know we have the Queen's jewel. His anger will soon destroy everything in his sight, including the island. Her Majesty is in great danger. So is Pinky's mother, whispered Mumfie. There's no time to lose. But what happens next, we'll have to wait until next time. The four friends shivered as they watched the storm clouds gathering over Pinky's island. We must get the Queen's jewel back to her. I'd better carry Pinky to the island. She's done more than enough flying on her own for one day. There's not enough room for all of us on your back, Napoleon. We'll have to use the Queen's umbrella and hope its magic works again. And it did!
Someone must be punished for all this carelessness. The rule book covers everything.
Rule, 203C, 204D,
Well, which one is it?
this one, Rule 210P. Escaping is absolutely forbidden. If any prisoner escapes, it will be the fault of the head jailer, whose name is Bristle, who will receive the secretary's worst punishment he can possibly think of. Oh.
Useless fools! I shall find the little elephant myself. He must be destroyed, and then the jewel will be mine.
The cat knew that she must do whatever she could to save Mumfie. They flew over mountains and forests.
There they are!
Mumfie was trying very hard to make sure the Queen's jewel stayed safely in his pocket. The umbrella was flying lower and lower.
Jump. My magic will keep you safe. Jump, and your bravery will be rewarded.
Mumfie looked at the cat for a moment and suddenly felt strangely comforted. So he jumped. Mumfie! When Mumfie recovered, he saw that he was sitting in a dewy meadow. He picked himself up and turned to see a familiar figure. It was Davy Jones, the pirate captain, and he was washing the tattoos off his arms. They're not real tattoos.
That's 'cause I was never a real pirate. I just got the lads together 'cause I was lonely. And when I was lonely, I was bored. And when I was bored, I got up to mischief.
That's no excuse. There's a lot of other things you could have done.
Not when you haven't got much imagination, there isn't.
Everyone has imagination. You just have to know how to use it.
When you're sad and alone, with nothing to do, there's a door in your mind you can open and go through. Worlds of wonder lie behind it. Close your eyes and you will find it. Friendly faces, fun and laughter you will find when you wander through the meadows of your mind. Everything you ever saw or heard about or read is waiting there to share with you the world inside your head. So you're never alone, There's lots you can do on the far side of that door. You can make your dreams come true. It's a fabulous creation made from your imagination. There's no limit to the magic you can find when you wander through the meadows of your mind.
Well, what are you imagining?
I'm back at sea, with the waves rolling under the deck, and the stars dancing overhead. But who'd ever trust or hire me to go sailing again with my reputation?
I would, cried Mumfie, and handed Davy Jones the penny he'd been carrying in his pocket since ever he left home. Take this lucky penny and report for duty immediately.
What's the job, and what's the boat?
Deck steward on board the good ship Whale.
The same whale what we trussed up like a sea chicken? He'll never forgive me for that.
Whale has got an awfully big heart. Why don't you go and ask him? Davy Jones tossed the penny in the air.
Heads I does, tails I doesn't. I does!
The sea is in that direction.
I know. I can smell it.
I dare say you could do with some company yourself. What do you want now? I'm here to help. I've been trying to do that since we met. Mumfie decided he had no choice but to believe her. I'm afraid the secretary caught Napoleon. But your friends Scarecrow and Pinkey escaped. They're hidden in the palace. Come on. I'll take you back there. A huge gust of wind blew the cat high into the air. And don't dawdle. It's way past my tea time. I wish we could hurry up and find Scarecrow.
Well, if it isn't the horrible little elephant, you're just in time. The secretary wants to meet you.
Give me the Queen's jewel. Quickly. Reluctantly, Mumfie did so.
Ah, the little elephant. Where is the jewel?
It must be awfully tiring being so angry all the time.
What?
Don't you ever smile?
Name?
Yes.
What do you mean, yes?
Yes, I've got one.
Then what is it?
Mumfie.
Occupation.
Elephant, said Mumfie, not knowing what occupation meant.
Don't you mean spy?
No.
Liar.
I don't tell lies. And anyone who says I do is a liar himself.
Take him to the holding cell and give him no food or water till he tells us where the jewel is. That'll make him change his tune.
I know lots of tunes. And Mumfie started to whistle a particularly cheery one. The secretary took hold of Mumfie's trunk and squeezed. But elephants don't whistle through their trunks. So Mumfie was able to go on whistling even though his eyes were watering.
Breaking the rules and whistling never did no one no good, no how.
Bristle was secretly jealous because he'd never learned to whistle himself. The hours passed, and Mumfie grew colder and colder. Someone tall and thin with sticking out hair stood in the doorway. Scarecrow! Before they could say any more, Pinky flew round the corner.
Quickly! I found Napoleon! This way!
But what happens then, we'll have to wait until next time. Mumfie and Scarecrow followed Pinky as she flew up the winding staircase of the Queen's palace. I'm glad you found Napoleon. But we've still got to find the Queen's magic cloak if we are to stop the Secretary's evil ways.
The Queen gave us a very good description of her cloak.
It's big enough to cover all the world and small enough to fit inside a thimble. Napoleon's in there.
But Napoleon was nowhere to be seen.
Shh! There's somebody coming!
Mumfie was already trying to push over one of the cabinets to block the door.
Oh, I say, when you decide to rescue someone, you don't waste any time, do you?
There's no way to open this window!
Then we'll just have to break the glass.
Scarecrow picked up a heavy paperweight and put it in his hat.
Everyone, stand back.
Look, there's something in the paperweight. Scarecrow lifted out a small silver thimble.
And what's inside this thimble? It's swirling and very mysterious.
It's the Queen of Night's magic cloak. You found it. That's an awfully long jump, and Napoleon will never be able to carry us all.
Don't worry, I can look after myself.
And I think I can come up to size. This is even better than skating. The Secretary's following us.
Give it back.
The Secretary's horrible hissing echoed all around them.
Got to take evasive action. Hang on tight.
In the muffled silence, they heard the swish of the Secretary's cloak. At last, Napoleon felt it was safe to start moving again. The Secretary was nowhere to be seen, but neither was Pinky. I hope she's all right.
I recognize this place. It's the Queen of Night's garden.
A fortunate piece of navigation. You find Her Majesty, I'll search for Pinky. She looks so sad.
We think this thimble may hold your magic cloak of dreams, Your Majesty.
Indeed, it does.
It's Pinky!
What?
The cloak rose out of the thimble in a cloud of sparkling mist, full of wonderful colors and shapes. It wrapped itself around the Secretary like a snake until he was completely out of sight. The Queen held out the thimble again, and there, in place of the Secretary, was a large, empty stone inkwell. Gosh, that really is a magic cloak.
And thank you for its return.
Now, will you set my mother free, please?
Free them all.
Again, the cloak of dreams flew into the air, swirling into a great cloud that sped off towards the dungeons. Next day, when laughter and music had returned to the island, the Queen held a special party in her garden. Look out, Your Majesty.
It's all right. I've seen the error of my ways. The only orders I'll follow now are Her Majesty's. Shall I do the honors now, Your Majesty?
Please. You have been trusting, kind, and courageous, and you have brought peace and happiness back to this island.
I'm still very sorry I lost your jewel, Your Majesty.
Mumfie, why don't you look in your pocket? You may keep it, Mumfie.
But it's a treasure beyond price.
So it is, for those who receive it. You should get ready to go home now, Mumfie.
There's Whale. But who's that with him?
I know who it is. It's Davy Jones, and he's polishing the portholes as bright as a new penny. Whale is making his wish come true. Will you keep me company always, Scarecrow? We can have lots more adventures.
As long as I can visit my field sometime.
Of course you can. But I shall miss everyone, won't you? It would be nice to have someone to come home to.
Home. Everybody has a place they think of. Home, though it may be long ago. Roam all around a world that's full of strangers. There's always one place you'll know. There, waiting for you in the open doorway. There, like a dear familiar song. Stare into yesterday to find that someone you've been missing so long. Someone who can fill a room with jars of sunlight. Someone, not just anyone will do, but someone who can make a place you've never been to feel like home. Could that someone be you?
More than just me, Mumfie. You were all alone, and then you met me, and Whale, and Pinky, and the Admirals, and the Eel, and so many others.
Yes, I am lucky. Every one of my friends is that special someone.
Someone with a loving heart that beats like your heart. Someone with a smile that makes your smile grow wider. Someone who can make a place you've never been to feel like home. And that someone is you.
We're nearly home now. So, did you bring back something? Yes, I did. I brought the tree a present. Why don't you take a look?
Mumfie! Scarecrow!
It's the Admirals!
Listen. I can hear all the birds singing.
And bees humming, and children's laughter.
Oh, yes. Of course.
And what happens next, well, what do you think?